Concerns over the possible use of drone strikes inside the United States could maybe derail the president's pick to lead the CIA. Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky now threatening to filibuster John Brennan's nomination, saying he's not satisfied with the nominee's response about whether drone strikes on Americans in the United States is legal. In a letter to Brennan earlier this week, Senator Paul said, quote, "The question that I and many others have asked is not whether the administration has or intends to carry out drone strikes inside the United States, but whether it believes it has the authority to do so. If it's not clear that you will honor the limits placed upon the executive branch by the Constitution, then the Senate should not confirm you to lead the CIA." We're told that Brennan has not responded to this letter. Senator Rand Paul joins me now from Kentucky. So, Senator Paul, there's so many issues in front of so many lawmakers in D.C. Why is this issue in particular so bothersome to you that you could want to prevent John Brennan becoming the head of the CIA?
Well, you know, the idea that you get a trial before a jury and a judge if you're accused of a crime is something that we've had in our history, through English history as well as U.S. history, for 800 years. It's a very important part of the Bill of Rights, due process. So what we're talking about is not killing someone with a grenade launcher on their shoulder. We're talking about someone eating at a cafe in Boston or in New York and a Hellfire missile comes raining in on them. There should be an easy answer from the administration on this. They should say, absolutely no, we will not kill Americans in America without an accusation, a trial, and a jury. And I'm not talking about people engaged in lethal force. I'm talking about people sitting in a cafe having coffee. That's what's being... People like this are being killed around the world. We should not do this in America, and it's inexcusable that the administration will not answer absolutely no, we will not do this.
Why do you think they won't?
Well, that's the real question. I've asked serious questions, serious constitutional questions. I've gotten zero response. And that's sort of the way this administration is treating Congress. The Senate has the right to advise and consent and approve nominees. I've not gotten one word of response from the administration on this. The president says he has no intention, but that's sort of like saying, well, he doesn't like the Second Amendment either, but he doesn't intend to overturn it at this time. That's what he's saying. He has no intention of dropping a drone or dropping a bomb from a drone on an American right now. He should say he has no right to do so without a trial. We're not talking about someone engaged in a lethal action or an imminent violence. We're talking about people they're targeting who are sitting and potentially conspiring.
You say you're concerned about the safety and security of Americans inside this country and our rights. How concerned are you about our national security if there's a delay of getting the president's next national security team in place? What do you think the risk is?
I think zero. I think the people who are in power currently would stay in power, and those in charge of this are career civil servants. And so I think the titular head of the CIA, whether they're delayed or not, wouldn't make an iota of difference. But I think constitutional questions trump all inconvenience the president might have, and he needs to respond. He needs to not say, at this time, I not plan on killing Americans. He needs to say, absolutely not. The Constitution protects American citizens on American soil. If you're accused of a crime in America, you get your day in court.
Senator Paul, real quick here, you've been really outspoken about sequester, and I want to ask you about that because our viewers today and for the next week are going to be hearing about the effects of sequester if it does indeed happen. We've heard of hundreds of thousands of job losses, our meat not being inspected by federal officials, about hundreds of thousands of kids being affected if this goes into effect. What is your message to our viewers? Because you've called the sequestration a pittance in the grand scheme of things. What do you think our viewers should consider when we also hear this from lawmakers from both sides of the aisle?
I would say balderdash. It's untrue, unfair, dishonest, disingenuous. The president is making stuff up. He puts law enforcement, he puts firemen and policemen, who 98% of them are being paid for with your local taxes, and says you're going to lose your local policeman because of this. It's not true. The sequester is a slowdown in the rate of growth of government. It's the least we can do. Our country is drowning in a sea of debt, borrowing $50,000 a second. We have to slow down spending. And for the president to use this histrionics is really, I think, beneath the office of the presidency.
Senator Paul, pleasure to have you on the show today. We look forward to having you back, sir.
Thank you.